Hello. Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. It started momentarily. Good morning to everyone. Let us see how the stream is. The stream is looking good today. It's a pretty good stream. Let's get started with the market overview for 7th of August, 2025. I think overall, the futures are looking great. As you can see on the chart out here, S&P 500 is up around 36 points and NASDAQ is up around 168.7. So overall, this is all fueled by a tech rally led by Apple, up 5% after a $100 billion US investment pledge and chip makers anticipating tariff exemptions. The S&P 500 rose 0.7%, NASDAQ 1.2%, Dow 0.2% on Wednesday. US and major international stock futures are green pre-market. And the tariff policy and exemptions for semiconductors continue to dominate headlines. President Trump's 100% tariff on imported chips is partially offset by exemptions for firms with US production. Now, that changes the picture a big deal for semiconductors. Market volatility remains low even with heavy global macro influences and outstanding corporate results. But there is a notable warning, in my opinion. I don't see this being talked about much in the press. I think the 10-year Treasury auction, which happened yesterday, was notably weak. The Treasury sold $42 billion in 10-year debt at a yield of around 4.255, which was above the prevailing market yield before the auction, a dynamic known as tailing. So there are some implications to this. The weaker than expected demand drove yields modestly higher, and some analysts see this weaker than expected demand to be driving yields modestly higher and as a potential warning sign that investor appetite for US government debt may be waning a little bit amid ballooning supply and macro uncertainty. Now, there are certain players in the market, like the banks, which have the obligation to buy the bonds that are not taken up, because the way I understand the bonds issue is that if, let us say, 1,000 bonds are to be issued for a certain amount of money, then all the 1,000 have to be sold. So whatever is left unsold, it has to be taken by the banks because they have other privileges. So banks have also had to take a good amount of money, and there is something called as the tailing, which is at what price is the lowest tranche of bonds sold. When they start selling the bonds, it's like a bunch of bonds at a particular price. They start with the highest price, sell, reduce the price a little bit, and sell until all the bonds are sold. So the very bottom at which, at the price at which the last tranche of bonds are sold to complete the sale is the tailing. And the tailing was much weaker than before. So that's another thing that's concerning analysts. From market perspective, I would say that while risk asset like tech and equities are surging in the short term, pockets of stress in the bond market could signal growing caution beneath the surface, especially if repeated in upcoming auctions. So we have to remember that, and that's what is being signaled by the bearish divergences at various places that we see. Now, the major headline that is driving all of this is Apple's rally ignited the whole semiconductor side with all the exemptions and everything. But behind this is the same optic, right? Tim Cook went to the White House and he promised $100 billion of investment, same like what EU had done, same like what Japan had done. The headlines were there, Apple promises $100 billion. On top of that, for good measure, Tim Cook presented precious memento to Trump. So all of those things have led into the current situation where the focus is out of Apple. Tim Cook did a great job and he's out of that. And that's the way I think the CEOs should handle this situation. But all said and done, we could still have some other tweet coming up tomorrow about some other tariff. So we have to watch out, because underlying there is a little bit of ruffling that's happening that is shown by the 10-year bond yields. Now, next, let's look at the tariff situation. US confirmed sharply higher tariffs on chips 100% and raised India tariffs to 50% through exemptions for US-based production, and that helped calm equity markets. That exemption carve-out, that helped. Several international tech firms are set to expand US domestic manufacturing to avoid these new duties. So if at this point of time there is any semiconductor company that does not manufacture in US but exports to US, they will be incentivized to set up a plant in the US to avail of these exemptions. Next, we have the macro policy. Ukraine ceasefire hopes are adding European and energy names into the rally as diplomatic progress is rumored. And June jobless claims, productivity data, and weaker dollar index are also in focus, with treasury yields drifting just above 4.2%, and oil prices remain steady with WTI near 64.5 and Brent above 67. Now, what's happening with the 50% tariff on India is that India has sent their envoy to both, I think one of the envoys has gone to Russia and the prime minister is going to China, and they are going to have discussions. And in the meantime, Trump is going to have a discussion with Putin and Zelensky together in order to resolve the Russia-Ukraine war. And if the resolution comes out there, then what will happen is the 50% tariff on India and the Russian oil issue, all of those things will become a thing of the past to a good extent, because the Russian oil issue will no longer be as hot as the Ukraine conflict gets solved. It will still be hot because Europe doesn't want to be dependent on Russia, so they're buying from the Middle East. And when the Ukraine war happened and Europe was heavily dependent on Russia, the international community got together, led by US, and suggested that European Union should buy oil from US and the Middle East, which is where India was buying its oils from. And they said that India should take more of Russian oil so that the oil market doesn't boom. This was the wisdom of the Biden administration, and it was beneficial for India as well because India has a huge population. So India agreed to it. The handover from Biden administration to Trump never happened because Trump did not want any handover from the Biden administration, even though they were prepared to do the handover. So the institutional history is not there. And now that India has pointed out the institutional history, Trump might go back and have a look at it, and he may possibly change his mind, because all said and done, I don't think Trump is an irrational actor. He tries to use whatever he can for the benefit of his country to bargain and negotiate. So all of these factors put together, I foresee that in the future, these geopolitical risks are going to come down significantly. I don't think Middle East problems are going to be solved, but at least Russia, Ukraine might come to a little bit of a simmering point and things will go down. And that could help the market overall. S&P 500 continues to surprise on the upside. McDonald's, Shopify, and leading tech consumer names outperform. Some industries are lagging. Key pre-market movers today include Ring Central, the Doorbell guys, Astra Labs, and SunPower, Aqua Metals. And then the decliners are checked. Check is a decliner in the overall news. So these are all some of the names. We never follow them, so I don't know much about those companies. But let's go on to look at the TradingView platform and see what we can find out from the tools that we have here. So as always, the first order of business is to go into a one-day time frame and look at each of the index separately. Yesterday, we had this hard stop out here as a resistance. Now that resistance has become a support for today. So I'm going to mark that green. Today we are at 6409.50, which is well above, and our support is going to be 6381.75, and our resistance is going to be 6516. So that's a good range out there. However, you see sentiment is bearish, MACD is bearish. It's just the momentum picking up, and pre-market actors generally cannot be trusted. But this is the S&P 500 futures. There will be a little hint of that out there. But the upside is pretty strong. So I'm expecting a green open. And at least until afternoon, it's going to be green at the very least. So I'm thinking despite the bearish sentiment and bearish MACD, we are looking at a potentially bullish day. And this was a bear flag that we were looking at, but it's now starting to look more like a bullish extension that could happen. And then we also have the prospect of a reverse head and shoulders forming. So we have to be cautious what happens. We have to take it day by day. NASDAQ, again, is looking a similar pattern. This potentially was a bear flag, but now it is looking more to me like an extended bull channel, because once the flag crosses the half point of the flagpole, it's no longer a bear flag or a bull flag. So the bearishness is out, but the sentiment is still bearish. It can mend anytime. MACD, which is bearish, is also coming towards the signal line, and momentum is pretty high. So it could be a green day for today for NASDAQ as well, but anything can happen because the underlyings are very risky. Our dollar index is up a little bit. It's up 0.05 cents. And we had the reverse head and shoulder, which could have followed through, but that did not happen. Let me just plot out where the reverse head and shoulders could have taken us. Drawing a diagonal line, I think roughly we should have gone up to $100.98, but we turned around from $100.04. So we'll see what happens with this. Let's go on to the 10-year yield, which has gone up after the auction. However, the 20-year and the 30-year yields are a bit low. We had this reverse head and shoulders, and then the 10-year yield has already met the reverse head and shoulders and turned around. This is a bear flag at this point of time, in my opinion, and I think that the bear flag can lead us further down. That is this anticipation of a September rate cut, and once that happens, that is also going to push the yields down. So that's what I'm thinking. Next, let's go on and have a look at the indicators themselves and see where we are. So we are going to break above this diagonal line of resistance today. As we saw on the futures, we'll open above that, and this is going to be a support for today. And we have bearish sentiment, we have bearish MACD, but tending towards the signal line to cross over to the bullish side. Momentum is picking up, plenty of room on the RSI. So this is going to look pretty good for the day. But if we want to look at some kind of resistance, I would say that we have to look at this line. I'm going to mark it red. And this line says that for today, the resistance is going to be 6,470.73. Next, we look at NASDAQ. Similar structure out in NASDAQ, but we already have the line of resistance out here, which says that we are going to face resistance at 23,882 today. We are at 23,315, so there's plenty of room to go up. Sentiment is bearish. MACD is also bearish, tending towards the signal line to cross over to the bullish side. Plenty of room on the RSI, above average momentum. So we're going to move up, that is for sure. And if we were to look at nearer term resistance, I would say the nearer term resistance would be a resistance somewhere around 23,593. So a 200-point difference from here. If you look at VIX, it is still very calm, and gold has gone up 9.2. That's around 0.28%. So gold is kind of saying that, you know what, I'm going to preserve value. There's a little bit of risk appetite out here. The dollar index has gone down a little bit. So all of that put together, I think gold is also indicating, along with the 10-year bond yields, that we have to have a little bit of caution out here, in my opinion. QQQ is up 0.68%, which shows a green open. And this is going to become the line of support for us. And today, the line of support is going to be at 567.13. And we are going to face a resistance at 574.74. Let me put the line out here for good measure. This is an all-time high out here. So I don't mind putting a regular line of resistance out here. So this is our line of resistance, and it's going to be at 575.28 for today. Put call ratio is mildly bullish. And with that said, let's go on and have a look at AI. NVDA is up 1.38%. I'm going to remove this diagonal line of resistance because it doesn't make any sense anymore. We'll just navigate with one line of support. This is the diagonal line of support that we have. And for today, I'll put the resistance at around, let me just work this out. line of resistance is 183.51. And I think I believe what we are forming here is a bullish pennant. Bullish pennants typically break out on the upside. The probability is much higher that it's going to break out on the upside. And if this bullish pennant broke out on the upside, and this is going to give you a rough idea of how high it can go. So this is the line that we have. And if I move this out here and I say the bullish pennant breaks out today, and it's broken out from this point, then I would say 196 or 195, somewhere around $196 is the target for NVDA. I'll leave it out there. And if you want to visualize what a bullish pennant looks like, so I'm going to draw this out here and then go ahead and draw one more out here. So this is our bullish pennant, and we have broken out of it in the pre-market. And if the market opens at that level, then I think that we have a resistance out here. And if we cross this resistance, then our target is going to be 196.18. Next, I'm looking at Meta, which is up 0.38%. Again, this is a bull flag. I would say this is a bullish pennant in the formation. I don't think we have broken out of it yet, but we'll see. We'll watch for a few more candles to go, and that will give us an idea of where we are going. Google is up 0.52%. Again, this is a bull flag in progress. I just draw the resistance out there, and I'll draw the support out here. So this is the bull flag. If it breaks out on the upside, I think you would be able to draw a target, and that's going to be a very strong target. So I think the markets are all poised for a huge bull run. But when you zoom out on the S&P 500 and look at historical trends, we have the parallel channel, which has been violated. So it has to come back down, but anything can happen. We just have to go by the chart. So I think the overall market is looking pretty bullish, and I might end up selling a little bit of my shorts on the Mag 7 today to prevent my downside, because the market is starting to look dangerously bullish to me, even though fundamentals do not support it. Let us look at Amazon. Amazon is down 0.22% in pre-market trades. And I think for Amazon, the support is going to be 219.27 today. That's going to be the support, and resistance is going to be 225.28. Next, let's look at Apple. Apple is up big time. It's up 3.02% thanks to the White House visit by Tim Cook and the statements from Trump about the carve-out for semiconductors. All said and done, it's looking good. We have support at 215.12, and we'll have a resistance at. This is going to be our resistance. The resistance is going to be at around 222.77 for today. That's where we are. Microsoft is up 0.59%. It's got support at around 526.33. What we have here is a bull flag formation. We let us see where it goes from here, because we had a gap up and then we came down. So I'm waiting to see what happens. Sentiment is still bullish. MACD is also bullish. It's just a matter of momentum. Of course, Microsoft has gone up pretty much, but given the overall market sentiment right now, I would say Microsoft still looks bullish. It has, in the past few days, it has started high and come down. That's why you're seeing the red candles. So same thing could happen. And if we breach this diagonal line of support, then this becomes resistance, and we'll start looking at new supports. I'll draw out new supports for you guys. Then we have Tesla. Tesla is also looking very interesting. We have this diagonal line of resistance, which has become a diagonal line of support from yesterday's action. So our support for today is going to be 206.49, and our resistance is going to be 328.97. Now, the dynamic that I'm looking at is that there is a Texas judgment against Tesla for a court case for an accident, and that is putting the damper on autonomous vehicles and the amount of diligence that needs for self-driving to take place in order to avoid liabilities. So I don't think that has been priced in by the market yet, and it could probably be priced in later today. And also remember, Elon Musk has got a huge issue of shares. And I'm pretty sure that he has got some liabilities for which he will have to take out money. In the past, when he wanted to buy Twitter and convert it into Truth Central, he had sold a whole lot of equity. Most founders are very loath to selling their equity. They sell it only for tax purposes. But Elon Musk doesn't care about those things, because at one time, I remember he said he doesn't need a big house to live. So he's a different kind of a person. So if he thinks that there is some cost, like say the midterm election where he wants to put money to support candidates that are opposing Trump or something like that, then he may sell those equities. So we have to be careful about those possibilities as well. I'm negative on Tesla. I have got TSLQ, so I'm sticking with that. I would like to hear from you guys what you think about Tesla, and put that in the comment section. It would be a really good intervention for me from the community, because maybe I'm overly bearish because of my personal bias out here. I'm looking forward to you guys to guide me out there. Now let's look at Oracle, which is up 0.93%. Oracle is a smooth operator. It has got a bullish pennant coming out here, and the breakout should most probably be on the upside. So we have already met the previous target of a bull flag, and we have exceeded that. Now this is the next bullish pennant that we are looking at. So the bullish pennant is out here. So if it breaks out, then I think we'll have a target of somewhere around 277.10. So that's what we are looking for. Let us see what happens. Next, we have AMD, which is up 1.82%. Yesterday, after the AMD earnings, AMD shares dropped. I had done that maneuver with CRISPR, where I anticipated a dead cat bounce, but AMD stock prices are much higher for my appetite. I couldn't buy a lot of AMD share to make a meaningful gain, so I didn't get into it. But true to form, there was a dead cat bounce, and the dead cat bounce is continuing today, thanks to the carve out. AMD carve out for the tariffs on semiconductors. AMD is likely to improve and do a gap fill, and it could go all the way up to 172 before it is checked. So it could go all the way up to 172 today. So that is an opportunity. I'll try to do a little bit of AMD on the Canadian side to capitalize on that, but I would not linger for too long. SMCI is up 1.18%. There are things which are going on in the background for SMCI. So I'm looking at this bullish pennant, and I'm thinking that SMCI is still a risky stock. So I would not get into SMCI. I would just watch it to see where it goes. Broadcom is up 1.04%. And this consolidation that's happening here is looking pretty good. It looks like a bull flag, and it could break out on the upside. Sentiment is bullish. MACD is also ready to cross over to the bullish side. Still, there is room on the RSI for it to go up. So if there is a candidate that can go up today, that's going to be Broadcom. It has broken out of the consolidation formation, and it's going to test the highs of around 307.06. If it breaks out above that, I think it has got a long way to go. Next, we look at Palantir, which is again up 0.91%. There's a huge gap up out here. Friends, we had a target earlier. We have met and exceeded the target. Now, I want to see more candles forming out here to see if we are going to have a bullish flag or a bullish pennant out here, what is going to happen out there. But if it continues to keep on moving up, I would say that I don't have any confidence that it's going to continue moving. If it keeps on creating a series of flags without creating a bullish pennant or a bull flag, then I'm going to be very careful about Palantir. But right now, it is looking bullish to me. We don't know what will happen when the market opens. That's something we cannot determine. But right now, it's looking bullish. SMH is it's not giving me a very clear indication. I see a whole bunch of consolidation out here, and there is no definitive movement. There are a whole lot of components in here which have got different dynamics, and that's what is being reflected out here. We had a target in the past for $304, and that's not been met. So I would continue to say that we have to look at that target and the limiting factor of this diagonal line of resistance. which I'm going to pull forward further. And that's going to be today at around 298.67. This is not any useful information. I personally would avoid SMH for the time being. I think in this market condition, unless I'm having a very clear possibility or probability of gains, I'm not going in. And unless I have a very clear probability of a drop, I'm not going in. I want either one of those two things, either to go long or to go short. When I don't find any of those things, I don't get in. And in this case, it's very premature. Could I see a reverse head and shoulder? Probably, but it's not triggered. So I would just leave SMH alone. There are so many stocks in the market. If you find something which can give us a very clear idea that it's going to drop today or go up today, then I'll make a move. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit on the sidelines. Looking at Rigetti, and Rigetti had this bull flag coming up, and it has, I think, broken out on the upside. So we'll have to see what happens out here, whether it's able to go above and break through this diagonal line of resistance. So I'm waiting for that to happen, and we'll see whether it could do that. And then we go into genomics, and I have a stock out here which I want to talk about, Prime. Now, Prime had a bull flag, and I think if it manages to break out of the bull flag today, you'll see it's up 0.25%. Last 2 days, it had broken out and it has come back in again. So I'm looking at this bull flag and I'm thinking that if Prime could only manage to break out here above this, then if it confirms above, it will have a resistance at 456. And if this 456 is broken through, then we have a solid gain. You see this yellow line out here? Imagine I pick this yellow line out here and put it at the point of the breakout. Wherever it goes, that's where the price target is going to be. And we have seen bull flags succeed in the past. So if this bull flag succeeds, I'm thinking that we are looking at a huge gain for Prime. So I'm going to be watching Prime very carefully. Then we have Intelia, which is up 0.26%, but it's not looking that great. Could it do a dead cat bounce? Yes, it's possible. It's already bounced off this support. This support has proved itself twice. But given the overall market conditions and the risk factors, I'm not pretty sure about this, so I won't go long on it at this point of time. Again, guys, these are all my personal opinion as a retail investor. I'm just sharing this with you. Those of you who are new here, this is a channel by me as a retail investor. I'm trying to find other retail investors and compare notes, and that's why I've done this channel. So don't assume that this is coming from a professional. I've had more than a decade of experience doing trading for my own portfolio using technical analysis. So this is the result of all of those things. And to a great extent, my technical analysis is working for me and my investment discipline has improved. I have got profits in my portfolio this year, which is pretty good. So I've seen incremental growth, but my fundamental area is a little weak. And also my overall market awareness is a little biased. So I would like to get feedback from you guys. If you think that I'm saying something that is not rhyming with your thoughts, put it in the comment section. Right. So that said, I wouldn't get into Intelia right now. Caribou Biosciences, it kind of stood up and got support from our minor line of support out here, which was based on four touch points actually. So that is going to be a support today. We are at 1.88, and this line is at 1.86. So we are likely to drop down below this when the market opens, and if that happens, then that becomes a resistance, and our support is likely to be somewhere out here. I'm just going to give you a minor line of support in case you're dealing with this stock. And I think your support will be somewhere around 1.61. That's where you'll get a support. Then I'm looking at Beam. I have nothing much to say about Beam out here. Altimmune also, nothing great. It's just moving along this diagonal line of support. And in terms of this being a bull flag, we are coming almost to the margin where it would turn out to be a bear channel instead of a bull flag. We have this gap down which has to be filled up. And I don't know what's happening here. There's a lot of consolidation. I'm happy about that. May this consolidation let this go up and break out on the upside of the bull flag, and then we can see some movement out there. That's a far cry right now. And for editors, we have this diagonal line of support, which is going to help it. This is a bear flag information. Bear flags generally break out on the downside. So not very happy about it. Illumina could be a buy, but personally, I would wait for it to come much closer to this diagonal line of support. Right now, it is the minor line of support that we are looking at. Yesterday, we broke down below that, but today we are likely to open above it, and the support is at 94.81. Failing which the next support is going to be 91.40. If we came to 91.40, and if there are some constructive chart patterns out here, then I might decide to buy a little bit of Illumina. Otherwise, I'll wait for it to come down to this huge support area. It's a question of watching and patience, in my opinion. Illumina is a world-class company in its field, and it's also a premium collaborator with NVDA for AI in genomics and multiomics. So I think it's a part of the future. Illumina is a must-have in the portfolio for any genomics investor, in my opinion. So from that point of view, I'd be looking at accumulating it at some time. I don't have any right now. CRISPR Therapeutics, I made a lot of profits, but right now I don't have CRISPR on my portfolio. Recently, I bought 50 when it dropped down, and I sold it off within a day and booked a little bit of a profit out there, a few $100s. But I'm not getting in anytime soon. I'm watching this Pennant form. This is a bearish Pennant. So I'll wait to see what happens with it. Support right now is this. Let me just see whether we have pulled it completely. This is a regression channel. The support is at the top of the regression channel at 54.62, failing which we have a support at around 53.19. And resistance today is going to be 59.81 on this dynamic line of resistance. Allogene is down 0.94% in pre-market trades. Nothing much to talk about out here. Grail has got a potential for a bounce up. It has been testing this line of support. So today, it will test this support again at 31.95. And in terms of resistance, I don't have any resistance to mention out here, but I will look at the support and I'll be happy if we stay above the support. I have no trade ideas out here. I can't guarantee that it's going to be a dead cat bounce from here, because if you see this structure, I wouldn't say that it's a bear flag, but it's a bearish channel that is happening right now. So not very happy about it. PICV, flat in pre-market trades, no clues out there. ARCG could potentially find resistance at around 24.62, and it could get a support definitely at around 22.94. And we have Vertex. So Vertex has bounced up from this support of the diagonal line of support out here. And then it had a huge drop. And the drop allowed for a little bit of a dead cat bounce. And I'm of the opinion that this dead cat bounce will continue today. You'll have a little more, as long as we don't clear the top of this red candle out here. I think we are still in the bearish channel. We have this huge gap down that has to be covered. And we have a resistance out here, which is going to be at $413. That resistance is the immediate resistance for us. And right now, sentiment is bearish. We are at the very bottom of all the indicators. So I'm thinking that the dead cat bounce has to continue today, and there'll be more gains for Vertex today. That's my opinion. At the very least, it could consolidate. Next, we have Ginkgo Bioworks. I think there's a good play for Ginkgo Bioworks. We have broken out of this bull flag, and my target for Ginkgo Bioworks is 19.22. Of course, guys, it looks impossible for a company like Ginkgo to go up like that, but at least that's what the charts are telling me. Sentiment is bullish, MACD is bullish, momentum is above average. So I'm going to buy a little bit of Ginkgo Bioworks today, a very speculative little, because here I'm getting a clear sign that we are going to go up. Now, there's also a probability that we may come down and test this as a support. This is the top part of the flag, which becomes a support. So that possibility is still there. And if that happens, I'll book the losses and sell it off if it doesn't bounce back from there. So I would ideally like to buy some today, a little bit of shares to just speculate on that. Then I'm looking at Unicure, which has got a gain of 2.67%. I don't have any gameplay out here that I can think of. IMPX, I don't see any clear-cut signals out here, so I'm going to leave that aside. Precision is another place where I have speculative position. It's up 3.28% today after dropping 5.18% yesterday. It has got this diagonal line of support. And on the third week of this month, there is going to be a DLA that's going to be approved. And analyst target for this company is pretty high compared to its current price. I'm going to stay put. And my purchase price was 1.93. Momentarily, we crossed 1.93 yesterday. So if I get an opportunity, I might probably accumulate a little more at a lower price, waiting for the BLA. I think there's an 83% chance that the BLA will be approved. The chances of rejection are very low at this stage for Precision. So that's what I'm thinking. And when the pop comes, I'll be selling it. I'm not going to be a long-term investor on Precision. That's my game plan. Again, guys, I'm disclosing this with you, to you, to get your feedback. And some of our subscribers, like David Best, do give a lot of ideas about genomic stocks. And I look at them, and sometimes if they are good, like Precision and Unicure and Iovance, I put them into our chart out here. And sometimes if it's highly speculative, I don't put it here. So guys, these are all my personal opinion, not financial advice. Keep that in mind when you proceed. I want to go to two other charts. One is Bitcoin. I'm thinking that Bitcoin is looking pretty decent out here. We had this bear channel, which is now working its way up to almost 50% of the bear flag. So if I take this as the bear flag, I think we are at 50%. So if we continue going up, I think we are going to nullify the bear flag, and then we could potentially start a bull channel. And then we'll see if there's any patterns coming up, like a bull flag or something like that, or a bullish pennant, and that could guide us going forward. And the other thing I've noticed is that Bitcoin has got a good correlation with the stock market. So if the stock market goes up, Bitcoin also goes up. So to that extent, I'm thinking that if the stock market is bullish today, Bitcoin is going to be bullish, and the chances of it crossing over half of the bear flag and nullifying the bear flag proposition is quite high. So that's what I wanted to point out here. Other thing I want to look at is XRP USD. XRP USD, I'm interested in this. I have got XRP on my wallet. I bought XRP with the idea that it's doing pilot project with central banks for clearance of money, foreign exchange. So I'm thinking that if that case study works out and banks start adopting XRP, and then the SWIFT and other things will go down, and it will be a much faster and a much neater and cheaper way of transfer. That's the business case that I understand of XRP, and that's why I'm excited to buy into it. I'm going to hold it for the longer term. I put somewhere around $500 into it, not too much. And I'll increase that as time goes by, and if I start getting positive signals. So that's my disclosure for XRP. And so I might break even with XRP. I invested it almost a week ago. Since then, it has gone up and it has come down. That's what you expect with cryptocurrency. Well, friends, that said, I want to look at what you guys have got for me in the comment section. So let me go and check out the comment section and share the comments with you and start responding to the comments. So Inf is saying good morning. Good morning, Inf. Markets are gapping up. Yes. Aaron is saying morning. Good morning to Aaron. Hot Dog says hi. Good morning, Hot Dog. Aaron says Bitcoin climbing to the upper resistance of the bull flag on the log scale. Aaron, I think I was differing on that. Of course, I wouldn't say that I'm an expert on technical analysis, but from my point of view, I am thinking that we are looking at a bear flag, which is going to get nullified very soon. That's what I'm seeing out here. So both of us are positive about it. So that's the common point there. But I take your feedback out there. I don't see a bull flag in there. I'm seeing a bear flag, which is going to get nullified. Next, Aaron is saying, okay, give me 1 second, guys. I want others also to see the chat out here. So there's something that I need to do here so that we can start interacting properly. So here we have So I'm going to start off just for the record. Inf is saying good morning, and I'm just going to remove my other mask out there. Aaron is saying good morning. Hot Dog is saying hi, and Aaron is saying Bitcoin climbing. I have answered to that. Aaron is saying Microsoft is a pretty large bear flag on the weekly with a large rejection candle on the resistance. Okay, let me go and have a look at that, Aaron. You could have a point there. I am short on Microsoft, so I'm very keen for things to move in that direction with regard to Microsoft. So let me go to the weekly pattern. Let us look at 1 week. Okay, now let me recalibrate this. 1 week. So what Aaron is saying, Microsoft is a pretty large bear flag on the weekly with a large rejection candle of the resistance, large rejection candle. So let me expand this. Where is this candle coming from? This is confusing me. We shouldn't have two candles in the same place. What the hell is happening here? Let me go to a monthly. Sorry, guys. Let me remove this. Let me remove this. And let me go to a 1 week. Okay. Yes. Yes. I agree with you, Aaron. I agree with you. We have this as a topping tail is what I would call it. It's a topping tail because if you look at the chart for Microsoft, we are at all-time high. And in the all-time high, we had this candle where we spiked up. And this is a very good topping tail. I wouldn't have wanted the wick at the bottom, but still, this is a topping tail. And for this topping tail to be nullified, we need to close above 555.13. We have not done that. We are trying to do that on the weekly scale. We are trying to do that. But on the weekly scale, sentiment is bullish and MACD is still bullish, even though it's moving towards the signal line. And we also have the RSI, which is highly overbought. So it has got to consolidate and come down. So I take your point, Aaron, but this still has to develop. For the weekly scale to develop, we need many weeks to go. And that's why I would go and look at the daily scale. And in the daily scale, I am seeing it as a bear flag. I'm seeing more as a bear flag. And this diagonal line of support is what I'm looking at. So let me just recalibrate this chart and look at it clearly and give you my thoughts. Okay, let's look at it this way. Now, we have this bull flag out here. If this had gone up, I would have said, if these candles, I need at least 5 candles to look at it and say that it's a bull flag or a bear flag. So if they had gone up, if I have 5 flags out here, five candles out here, and it goes up, I would say that I'm looking at a bull flag, and the chances of it going up is pretty high. But for that, my flagpole should have been coming from below. That has not happened in this case. The flagpole is coming from above. So I'm seeing this as a bear flag. And these candles that I see, they are going along the upside, which is the classic bear flag style. So if I have got 2 more candles, even if they go up, but as long as they stay within this channel, I would say we are seeing a bear flag developing. Then the probability of the bear flag breaking down becomes much higher. And when the bear flag breaks down, then my target would start from here. So this is the flagpole. I will take the flagpole and move it. Come on, wait here. And move the flagpole to wherever we break down from, and that will give me my new target. Now, all of those things have not happened. So, Aaron, I agree with you. We have bearishness in Microsoft, but we got to see where it's going to take us. And yeah, interesting. Are we winning, Raj? On my portfolio, I'm break even, my friend. I've got a lot of capitalized profit, which I have already taken, cash sitting in the sidelines. but my shorts on Max 7 and S&P 500 are killing me. So I have to sell off a little bit of my Max 7, and that's going to reduce my profits, realized profits. Aaron is saying only a short-term bull flag on the 4-hour. Okay, let's look at the 4-hour. Aaron, this is very interesting. Please come very often. This is making me think much more in a more detailed. Oh yeah, it's looking nice. Yeah. Bitcoin, yeah. So this is still looking bearish out here. This is the diagonal line of support. It's very close to this. That could be a bounce off this. We'll see today what happens. Let's go to the Bitcoin currencies. Bitcoin. Okay. Where we are? Bitcoin. You're saying 4-hour. Yeah, in the 4-hour, it is looking like a bull flag. Yes. See, that's the problem, right? We have to decide which time frame we are looking at. So from my perspective, when it comes to crypto, I'm a long-term investor. I'm not going to be looking at short-term movements. So I'd go with the daily because that's my range. But if you're going to do some trading within the day, then I think it's nice to look at the 4-hour, or even for that matter, go into the 3-minute or the 5-minute chart to get a better perspective. So if you go into the smaller time frame chart, then you had a bear flag out here and it came down and a bear channel is forming. So you could look at it that way. It all depends on the time frame. So personally, Aaron, I prefer a 1-day time frame or a 1-week time frame for crypto because I'm going to be long term on it. And when it comes to stocks, I'm looking at 1-day time frame, and personally, I would look at 1-hour time frame and things like that for a little bit of day trading or swing trading. David Best is saying, CM Management LLC acquires 200,000 shares of Iovance Biotherapeutics. Let us see if Iovance has bounced up as a result of that news. It has gone up 1.94% in the pre-morning thing, and it's saying here's why Iovance surged 32% today. That was on July 23rd. This is the old news. So yeah, so I'm seeing that the price has gone up. Thanks for the heads up, David. So that's the news why it has happened, and that's not a fundamental news as such. So anyone, probably if I was there, I would take profits or sell a call and wait for it to come down again because that's the trend of things. We have a resistance out here as well. If you see, this is the line of resistance. I'm just going to show you. This is the place where we bounced. This is the place where we bounced. This is the place where we bounced. You see this small candle out here and this candle. So this is the place where we are bounced. So it's very nicely comes and sits in here as a resistance. So yeah, I would say that, yeah, this is going to become a support going forward. I'm going to say that this is our support and we go up and we come back down here. And likewise, if you look at this point out here, this is going to be a resistance for today. Touch point here, touch point here, touch point here, 3 touch points, and a piercing out here. So yeah, this is the range in which I think we'll be there. I would be surprised if we go above 2.63 today for Iovance. I would be surprised if we go above that. I think we're going to come down from there when the market opens. That's my thinking. So friends, thanks for joining me today. It's been a pleasure working out with you guys. I'll catch up with you again in the next one. Bye for now.